In the beginning, nothing. No movement, no sound, complete emptiness. Then, something. A speck, an idea. The idea could be anything. It could be everything.
For the last 7 months, I've been completely captivated by Dreams. Its wide array of easy-to-use tools and plethora of user-created experiences have kept me hooked for hours every day. It's hard to find a game development software that is able to find that perfect mix between power and accessibility, but by some miracle, Dreams pulls it off. So you may be asking, what even is Dreams? Well, about a year or so ago, you might have seen a few videos floating around surrounding the game. A lot of these videos showcase the game in a, how do I say this, not very accurate way. A lot of what was shown in these videos made the game seem like a collection of crappy memes and bootleg versions of better games. And don't get me wrong, Dreams does still have a lot of that, but this is far from what Dreams really is. Dreams is a game development software, an animation software, a music studio, an art program, a movie maker, and much, much more. Today we're going to be delving into the ins and outs of the game and seeing what makes it so incredible. Dreams was developed by Media Molecule, who you may know for their work on the Little Big Planet series, which also had game creation elements, but on a much smaller scale. It's clear that Media Molecule has always had a desire to make games that let you make other games. At Media Molecule, we believe that making games should be for everyone, and have the same accessibility and pleasure as playing with a camera, a guitar, or a pencil, something you can start to learn just by picking it up. So it wasn't a surprise when in 2013 they announced their most ambitious project yet, and after several years of development, multiple delays, and an open beta, Dreams was finally released to the world on February 14th, 2020. Players and reviewers praised the game for its ability to make all forms of creative expression more easy and accessible than ever. For those who don't know, game development is hard. Programming, modeling, designing, composing, marketing, and like 20 different programs with your main interface looking like this, it all becomes a huge mess. Dreams was able to make what I consider to be the most tedious part of game development into an inherently fun experience, and this all comes down to how Media Molecule approaches the game's style. Take a look at these other game development tools. They all feel so lifeless and bland. Now let's take a look at Dreams. The difference is striking. You are greeted with a cute little imp as your cursor, a calming melody playing in the background, all complemented by some really nice looking UI. This game's style is just nice. Am I saying that every piece of software has to look like this? No, but when trying to get people into game development, it just looks unwelcoming. Media Molecule did a great job making this game more beginner friendly from the UI alone. And it's not just the UI, the creation tools themselves are really easy to use once you get used to them. When entering the Dreamshaping mode, it might seem a little daunting at first, but it's actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. I recommend watching a few tutorials, but keep it to a minimum, as the best way to learn is by taking some time to mess around with the tools. That's how I approached it anyway. So we have this drop down menu. Here we can search things from the Dreamiverse, Sculpt, paint, compose music, animate, and program. Sculpting is kind of like playing with clay. You have plenty of tools to add and cut from the shape, and you can either paint the entire thing a certain color or spray paint it to your liking. Everything in Dreams is made out of flex, and if you look very closely, you can see the flex on the sculpt. This helps give every dream a kind of artsy feel that I really like, and you can change the flex type / size to best match what you're going for. Anyway, back to the creation tools. Painting takes a little bit of getting used to. At first, it doesn't feel right drawing with a controller, but with the right settings, you can make it work. And as previously mentioned, you can change the flex type. It's not that hard to make something that looks nice. Composing music is actually the last thing I learned how to do, because at first I thought it was super confusing. I was trying to compose music with frickin' sound modifiers. Turns out I was overlooking the sound menu the entire time. To get started, just place down a music timeline and search some instruments. We'll pick a guitar. Now we can use the buttons to produce different sounds. We'll start recording, add some more instruments, and let's listen to our masterpiece. It's by no means amazing, but the point is to get you to imagine what you could do with enough time and practice. Animating is like the simplest thing in this entire game. Let's grab ourselves a character, let's do Naruto from Dragon Ball. Let's say we want him to wave. All we'd have to do is get a timeline, get a keyframe, activate the keyframe, animate his arm moving up, duplicate this and make it move to the side, copy that a few times, and boom, we've got an animation. See? That wasn't so hard. Usually the main problem for people with an interest in game development is the programming side of it. Dreams has a pretty simple programming method. Different logic gadgets can be strung together to make stuff happen. Basic knowledge of programming would be helpful, but it isn't required. If you have absolutely no idea how any of this works, I recommend going to YouTube and finding yourself some tutorials. There's dozens of videos out there and you're bound to find one that can help you out. I found it's pretty easy, but I also have prior experience, so that could just be me. Just mess around with it for a bit and you should be fine. So now that we've gone over everything, let's mix everything we've learned and try to make a simple thing. Alright, so first we're gonna go into the Dreamiverse and search for a basic puppet. Now let's give it a cool looking head. We'll start sculpting and hopefully we'll end up with something decent. We'll sculpt into the puppet and attach it. Cool. Now let's make the puppet go faster with a button press. We'll grab a keyframe and start animating. Whenever this keyframe is activated, the player will move faster and the head will glow. Now let's attach this keyframe to, say, the square button. Here's the end result. It's not much, but the point of that was to show how easy it was to make something. It's a type of tool that's easy to learn but hard to master. When you finally made something, you can upload it to the Dreamiverse, where thousands of creators are playing and releasing new experiences every day. Here we can find games, movies, animations, music videos, paintings, memes. Not everything is great, but there's a select few that manage to impress. Let's take a look. Sonic Adventure Dreams Edition is the best 3D Sonic game in 10 years. The movement is just so fluid and fun to play around with, and the levels are well designed and infinitely replayable. I have a sweet spot for this game as it's the entire reason I got into Dreams in the first place. I was scrolling through YouTube when I saw a video on the game. It looked good, so I thought I'd try it out. And now, it's my most played Dreams game. I wouldn't be surprised if I put 10 or 15 hours into this game alone. The game is still in development but currently has 7 stages, 3 hubs, 3 special stages, a shop, and an achievement system. So it's pretty packed for a game that's not even finished yet. This game made me realize a few things. Why does Sonic have more idle animations in this than he does in Sonic Forces? Why am I having more fun with a game made by mostly one person with no budget than I am with a game made by a huge company? How does the Sonic franchise still exist? I'll tell you how. When done right, this character and his games are some of the best platformers you could ever play, and this is an example of Sonic done right.
That was cool!
What do you get when you cross my favorite show ever made with my second favorite game ever made? You get 4 Seasons, a fan-made Avatar game. For those who don't know what Avatar: The Last Airbender is,
You will.
4 Seasons is a fan-made Avatar game with the goal to make an Avatar game that truly lives up to its potential. It's being made by a small team of 4 to 5 people, but most of it is being made by Elka Gaming, also known as the Thermo God. Seriously, he is pushing Dreams to the absolute limit. Just look at this. How do you even... I don't know. If you've watched the series, you'll know just how accurate this game is to the show. Like, try and spot the difference. I know, you can't. A lot of Dreams suffer from having one good thing about them, but everything else is just kinda eh. A lot of them are tech demos for what they could do, but probably won't. 4 Seasons is clearly trying to be more than just a demo. This is a full-fledged game. Elka and his team are slowly but surely bringing this ambitious project to life, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. So those are the 2 games I really wanted to touch on, but I still want to show off some of the other Dreams that I thought were pretty great. The Proof is a horror adventure game that unfortunately stopped development, but what it does have is pretty solid. Tales of Acorn: Crosstown's Enigma is a pretty well designed puzzle platformer that is underrated as can be. Splatty's Adventure is a pretty polished 3D platformer. Nogushi's Bell is a full-on animated series made in Dreams, with some pretty clean animation. Thumb Fighters is a fighting game where you play as thumbs. What more do I need to say? Pig Detective is a hilarious story-driven adventure series. Sonic Venture, while not as good as Sonic Adventure Dreams Edition, is still really good. Most of the levels are well designed, Sonic feels good to control, and there's a whole lot of content. What's that? You want to hear about the games I've made? Well, you see, after 7 months, 118 levels, and 823 hours of playtime, I haven't actually released a single thing. But I guess we can go through what I've made. So the first thing I tried to make was this horror game called Nightmares. Get it? Because it's in dreams. And next up, I tried making this Pokemon clone, which just wasn't gonna work. It's definitely possible to get a system like this working, but it requires a level of logic understanding that I have not reached yet. So yeah, that got shelved. Afterwards, I made this Ninja Cat game, which was just supposed to be a short little thing, so I guess you can't really say it got cancelled. Then I tried making a pirate game, which is actually the farthest I've gotten to developing a game. Then one day, I just lost interest. Fast forward to now, I'm working on something that's in the works. Working on something that's in the works. What is... I don't know. That I think you'll like. Maybe I'll post some devlogs on the channel. Who knows? Despite me going through so many projects, I don't regret a single one. Each one was a lot of fun to work on and taught me a lot about dreams and game development as a whole. Part of the reason I like Dreams so much is how fun every aspect of it is. Sculpting is fun, painting is fun, composing is fun, animating is fun, piecing together pieces of logic is fun, even just scrolling around the menus is fun. I'm not saying that Dreams is the only way to make any of these things enjoyable. What I'm saying is that Dreams makes it so that all of these forms of creativity that would usually be locked behind a skill gap, a certain software, or even a certain level of teaching can all be accessed and learned with a PlayStation controller. This is why I love this game so much, and this is what makes Dreams so incredible.
One, two, three. Dream.
So now that you know what Dreams is, what can we expect in the future? Well, right now I feel like Dreams is in a bit of a limbo. It's not thriving, but it's not dead either. It's just kind of there. The community is still active, the devs are constantly streaming, and every once in a while someone will make something good enough to end up in headlines. But we still haven't reached a level of popularity that I think is deserved, I guess. The last major update we got was the VR update, which dropped in July of 2020. The two updates that are set to come out next are the PS5 upgrade and the online multiplayer update. If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go with the online multiplayer update. Just imagining what people will do with online is exciting. Don't think this is the last of Dreams you'll see on this channel. In fact, we're just getting started.